single for a while, yeah. But I can't spend a day without you. No, I just forgot how.
Hey.
I think we go together now.
Yeah. Sun up to sundown, girl, I love everything
About you.
I just need you around. Yeah.
We go together now.
Do 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 do. What up? What up, podcast land? We are back with another episode of Journey of a Relationship, episode
5.
And today, we're going to do something a little different. Janelle will be producing the episode.
Uh-oh.
Let her steer the ship.
Don't judge me.
I feel like when Greg Popovich witnessed Steve Kerr win his first championship.
Proud parent.
Yeah. So, what's the first thing we talking about?
On today's episode,
That ain't it.
I'm going to start with the subject of arguments.
Okay.
And the question is, when does a discussion become an argument?
For me, it's when when pettiness gets involved. Like you could be having a discussion talking about how you feel about X, Y, and Z, but when like somebody gets petty or is condescending or whatever the case may be, that's when
It shifts. It turns.
It turns right into an argument. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think internally for yourself, like when that shift happens, because like it could be positive conversations, free flowing, and then the other person will say something, and then there's like a switch that turns on for you, and you're like, this is about to take a turn. And and from there, it's like it's over with, and it just opens the floodgates. So, I think that's a tip off, and well, we'll get into that later. But is there such thing as a healthy argument, though?
I don't have the answer for that. Do you? What was?
So,
I asked that. I posed that question to like try to get what you thought, because I don't know.
I think that there is such a thing.
In college, I took a course, and it was like on like how to write argumentative papers. So I believe that there probably is quote unquote healthy argument. But I don't know if there is a healthy quote unquote argument. It's taking like a super negative connotation to it now.
Just about to say that. So I don't think you should maybe call it an argument, discussion, perhaps. But I think that as long as there's a few things that have to happen. So you have to listen, actively listen, like not like listen to react, and then you have to allow the person to say whatever it is they need to say without interrupting. That's key. And then understand that you might not always see eye to eye on something, but you still should be able to have continue that conversation, but be able to listen to the other person's perspective. So I think that's key too. As you would say, did we leave any, what did you say, meat on the bone?
On the bone.
I was about to say fat on the bone.
I would have had to report.
Tank.
Where are we at? Moving along.
Moving along. Okay, so as far as resolving conflicts, I think that's a work in progress.
Oh, wait a minute.
Backtrack.
Backtrack. I just got something. Okay, when is it like? Okay, there's like a hierarchy to like disagreements or whatever. Hello. Okay.
Yeah.
You got discussions. Discussions turn to arguments. Arguments turn into conflicts. Mm-hmm. If they're not resolved, they turn into, you know what I'm saying? They turn into a conflict.
It has a domino effect. So, but then at one point,
go ahead.
Okay, but you're having a discussion, and then at what point do you abort ship if you feel like it's going from a discussion to an argument? Like, at what point do you, if you don't want it to get to the point of it becoming an argument, like, what do?
For me, what I do, like, it's probably not good, but I like eject so I can like gather my thoughts and work on like a proper sandwich. You know what I'm saying? That's usually what I do. Do you disagree? Do you agree or disagree?
My wheels are turning. I think that's the ideally, what you think it is, but a lot of times, you don't always want to go back to that conversation. So if you're like over it, then do you ever want to come back to it? I mean, especially if it's going to like restart the potential for there to be an argument. Like, I don't know. So, I don't know. I think a lot of times you just want to move past it and be like, okay, I'm not mad anymore, or I'm cool, so we can move on.
But like, excuse me, even if there's a situation where it didn't get resolved at that time and it's just not resolved, does that become an elephant in the room?
For me, it does.
Right. So like eventually you're going to have to come back to it anyway.
You are, but then how's your attitude? Like,
it depends on the last exchange or encounter about said conflict.
Right, but if the point of it is to let it go so you can have some time to process it, then when you come back to it, you should be in a better place.
That's true.
More open to dive in and talk about stuff. You shouldn't be where you left it. If your decision was to walk away from it and come back to it, your mindset, you should be more open. You should be, more tolerant.
What about, like, say you do that, you walk away and you come back and you gain a different perspective on it, then is that okay to do is that okay to do when you're dealing with conflict?
I think so. I mean, I think that if it's coming from a sincere place of like, yeah, I thought about this and, earlier I said this, but now I feel like this, like, that's cool. But then you run the risk of like, depending on how hard you went on, whatever your point was, then it might make your significant other feel like,
Right, there's some residue anger.
Right, so now
anger.
Right, like you acted brand new now, and so all of a sudden,
I got anger residue on me.
Yeah, so they might not believe you for real.
That's why, for me, like, it's important to like eject, because I don't want to say anything or get upset and then say something that you're like, nah. Damn, I shouldn't have said that. or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Or that came out wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a difference between like, okay, putting it on pause and then coming back to it, and then complete avoidance of conflict. Because I don't like that. Like, I need to know you're gonna come back to it.
Right. We tripping. No, I didn't put no tunes on.
I was wondering why I was so quiet.
Right. Usually you got some dead time in it to carry it. You know what I'm saying? My bad.
Play the curb music. And it's been a good time for it. Since we're talking about resolving conflict, I wanted to get into the subject of complaining. And we've kind of gone back and forth about this. But I think the main issue is with complaining is one person could see it as complaining and the other person could see it as venting, or expressing their feelings. And where's the line? Don't do that. Where is the line from when it's just, I'm just expressing myself. I'm just telling you something I don't like. I don't like that. I'm telling you, I'm being honest about it. What makes it feel like it's a complaint to you?
I feel like I'm gonna let this bone because it's our shit. This is my shit. I produced this. Damn, he coming through. He cutting through, boy. Well, damn, that shit sounds so slick.
You know what you feeling yourself. You getting off the subject.
Okay. What the fine line between expressing yourself, expressing how you feel, and complaining?
Right.
To me, it's like you can express yourself. It's like first world problems. You know what I'm saying? When I keep hearing first world problems, it's like, okay. And then I look like, not to dismiss, but like, I have a motto that I live by. If it won't matter in 10 years, it don't matter now.
Okay.
So I mix that thinking up with like, listening to complaints and listening to like people vent or whatever. Like if you are in the moment and it's just like, this is how I feel right now about this said thing, and then you come back to it and it sounds like, you know what I mean? It's complaining. That's when it turns into complaining for me. Like, or especially if you're venting about something I did, if it's continual new little shit back to back and it's adding up, now it feels like normally where I'm like, okay, you know what, I can make that adjustment. I can make this adjustment here, this there. But when a person keeps coming back and it feels like you're chipping away at me, that's complaining. You know what I'm saying?
Like the essence of who you are.
Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of it has to do with like picking your battles, and also, okay, I guess if you did look at it like that, but then there, like, is it going to matter in 10 years? For me, yeah, it could, depending on what it is. A lot of times, no, but I guess that's a good way to check yourself, before bringing something to, the attention of your significant other. So, okay, I get that.
Where we at?
So we were talking about the difference, kind of leading into this further, but going into it further, but like being seen and being heard, and like making sure that that's the takeaway. Like, if you're going to tell, your significant other something that's bothering you, then you should lead with the good things that they do. Recognize those sandwich. Yes, recognize the good. And then approach it that way. So, but how often do we really do that though? Like, if it's something we don't like, how often do we approach it with love? Like, sandwich it. I don't think we do that as much as we should.
That's something that we got to work on.
Yeah. Because a lot of times,
especially me, because I'm super blunt. It comes to being Sagittarius. Mm-hmm.
I can't be too, but I'm a little more mindful about my delivery sometimes.
I don't like you doing
but I'll tell you in a nice way that I don't like something. I don't just come out.
Even when I try to be like nice, it sounds condescending and like I'm being an asshole.
Yeah, it does.
Like, could you not put that there, please?
You take some of that off. which is kind of a thing of where we have to blend strengths and weaknesses, because I say things, I'm intentional about what I say. I'm mindful about how it's said, and you just get to the point and say whatever it is. Mm-hmm. I think there's a time and place for both, depending on what the issue is, but it's like a bigger issue of just in general, how do you blend strengths and weaknesses? If both people want to do things, or they feel like the way they're doing something is like the way, when do you back off and let the other person lead?
I think it's one of those things where as long the end goal is the end goal the same. That's the question. That's what needs to be established.
Okay, so let's say it is.
The end goal is okay. I know it's because we're in a relationship. Is it okay to have the same destination, but we took two different cars?
That sounds like one of those is it wrong questions. I think that I'm thinking, okay, all roads lead to Rome. I think that if I'm following you, though, for me, I feel like I should know, okay, you're going to take this route, instead of me just following you and then you take a quick left or quick right, and then I don't know the rest of the way. I don't know the rest of the way to go. I'm lost. I want to know, like, okay, you're going to go this way. Okay, cool. So even if I don't follow you exactly, or I get stopped at a light and you keep going, I still know how to get where you're going.
But we're in the same car then. Or are you following?
Yeah, I'm following you.
I was lost. I was behind. My bad. I missed the dump.
But I'm following you though. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And maybe I put my GPS in too, and maybe mine tells me to go a different route than you go, but we'll get there. I mean, okay.
If we get listen, this is what I don't understand about like this part. This is the part that I'm learning. I look at it like okay, if your GPS tell you to go this way and your ETA is at 9:04, my GPS told me to go this way and my ETA is at 9:04, we're going to get there at the same time.
Yeah, I think but then it's your comfort level, because you might, well, what happens if I want to take the streets and you want to take the expressway?
Is it 904? Is the ETA 904? If the ETA is 904,
then it doesn't matter. Well, okay, but if your way is faster, like, I don't know, is faster better? I don't know. So that's a work in progress, folks.
faster depends on what we're going there for.
That's
that
true.
Makes sense.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. I think it allows for some bending though too. Mm-hmm. But that's still a work in progress.
Okay.
So maybe in future episodes we'll have an answer to that. So one of the things we talked about in the last episode was, in our Is It Wrong segment was about we talk about having an outlet. Like, do you have to oh Lord, I forgot what was on the episode.
I don't remember either.
It's been a lot happening in the world. We talked about so like if you're having a conversation, is it a thing that sometimes you run out of things to talk about, right? And we both said yes, that's a real thing. Mm-hmm. And then one of the things was come back to it later, find something else to do, which leads us into creative, having an outlet. Mm-hmm. When you just need to get away, when you need to step away, take some time from your relationship, kids, and the importance of that. But we also were talking about, how do you do that when you have responsibilities? You have you have kids you have to take care of. You have a significant other. You have work. How do you find time for you when you wear so many hats and you are so many things to so many people? That's still a work in progress. But how do you carve that time out? Because I think it's really important as an individual.
I think as an individual, strictly as an individual, you have to, which is something I've been trying to find a way to do for like over the past 3 years, is strip down your obligations. Haven't been successful, but I've been trying to strip down my obligations. Because I'm stretching myself thin as a human being. And I'm not going to be worth a damn to anybody if I continue to do that.
Yeah. Because before you were a father or, a partner, a significant other, whatever, there was you. And so you got to get back to that. Because you'll get burnt out if you don't have a creative outlet somewhere. So, which is why I want to talk about in today's news. Quarantine Chronicles. I was looking at an article today, and it was from Psychology Today. And it said that family law experts predict a spike in divorce filings after the quarantine ends. They are saying this because this is what's happened in China. What are your thoughts about that?
I think it's not out of the realm of possibility when, because we had a conversation about this. Was that yesterday or today that we talked about that? Today. And I said, if people are holding on by a thread and they don't realize it, because you have a job, if you work 12 hours a day, you're gone away from that person 12 hours a day. If you have extracurricular stuff, you're gone with that. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa with your significant other. But now that you guys, you don't have an outlet to go to the, hang out at the diner or whatever, if you didn't like that person to begin with, you've grown to not like them, that dislike has magnified in this quarantine because y'all don't have an outlet.
Yeah. It was Yeah, it was also talking about like it's forced togetherness.
Like, oh, I hate it here.
But you don't have anywhere else to go. So it can create feelings of like resentment. And it also like exasperates issues. Like if you had communication issues before, you know, the tension, the stress of this is only going to make those problems worse. So it'll be interesting to see what happens after all this is over. You know, I think it takes a lot of just empathy, and you got to find ways to connect during this time, and I think that'll help as well. And then look at it as a positive, like you get to do the things that you wouldn't normally be able to do when you've got, and some people, you know, a lot of people are off work right now, but there are some still essential workers out there. Shout out to them. But I think that you just got to be creative too. Find things to do.
I don't have nothing else to say about that.
Teach me how to play 2K20.
Leave me alone.
I'm gonna play.
And go downstairs.
And so we're gonna move on, since you don't have anything else to say about that. So for our "Is It Wrong" portion of the episode, is it wrong to go to bed with unresolved issues?
I say a lot of people say no, you shouldn't do that. I'm a firm believer of if it wasn't going to go anywhere that particular day, it wasn't meant to go anywhere that day. You two individuals hadn't had that growth it takes to resolve that issues. You know, the issue. Either, you know, it could be on one side or both sides. But like the growth that's needed in that particular moment wasn't had. So go to sleep on it. Think about it. Come process your thoughts, process your feelings, and come back to it the next morning, or, you know, convenience the next day.
I see what you're saying. For me, I think that you gotta gauge how mad the other person is. How upset are they? You know, because you could be, you know, sleep in 2 seconds on the couch somewhere, and the other person could be upstairs in the bed, mad as hell, because you down there snoring on the couch, watching Curb and laughing before you start snoring, and the other person
Is that so you
is upset. Not today, but the other person could be upstairs in the bed, mad as hell, like, and think that you don't give a damn because you down there calling hugs. Like, and then that makes the other person mad.
Everybody got their own shit though. Like,
So you left to deal. The person that's mad is left to deal with that on their own.
go to bed.
Lay down, but it's
Lay
harder
down and go to bed.
It's harder to do. I'm just saying. So maybe anyway, moving on. Is it wrong to stop? And I already know what you're going to say, but is it wrong to stop an unproductive conversation?
Bruh. Yeah, it's not wrong. It's not wrong. I think it's healthy. What if it's mutual?
What if it's not mutual and the other person wants to work through the unproductivity, like they want to Like,
How is that possible?
cause just keep talking and keep like listening and keep trying to turn your nose up. Like, they want to like work through it. Like, they don't want to just abort the mission. Like, they want to continue to, you know what I'm saying, hash it out. Shit now.
Shit now.
Until maybe you come out on the other side better. It might be a little ugly. It might be a little ugly at first, but it could get pretty. That's what I think.
We can agree to disagree.
Okay, we 0 for 2. All right. And the final bonus, is it wrong? Is it wrong to not sandwich?
Wait, how do we say that?
Not sandwich. Is it wrong?
When is it okay?
When is it okay
Yeah.
to not?
We can get away with not
sandwich?
making it is it wrong because we had 2 good ones.
Right. This is just extra.
Yeah.
So I had this concept. I don't know where I got it from. Maybe I created it in my mind. I don't know. But for me, and for the people who don't know what a sandwich is,
We told y'all on the first episode.
No, we kind of didn't.
We did. We talked about a sandwich.
For the people, we talked about it, doing
No,
it.
we explained what a sandwich was.
Okay, well, there might be some new people, and
Y'all not doing y'all due diligence.
I like to help the people along who
No,
might just be listening for the first
I'm just
time.
playing. Go ahead.
But basically, a sandwich is like, okay, let's say there's something you want to say to someone, and it's probably not something they want to hear. Maybe it's could be a little negative. It could be constructive criticism, whatnot, blah blah blah. So the idea is to, before you just hit them with whatever that is you have to tell them, you sandwich it. So you tell them something good. So you highlight something good, something about them, who they are, how you feel about them, and then you hit them in the middle with what it is you need to tell them, which is the meat of it. And then on the other side, after you're done telling them the meat part, then the other part, the bread, is ending it with a positive. So when is that unnecessary?
Not unnecessary. It's always necessary. But when is it okay to not sandwich
Something that you need to tell someone.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know if it's okay, because I'm big on tone. I'm big on how you say things.
Tone and delivery.
Tone, absolutely. So for me, I feel like, is there ever a time where you don't?
We missing DJ Premier and RZA beat battle.
Okay.
They're an hour in. Go ahead.
We were shopping, so but we missed it anyway. For me, I feel like you should always try to sandwich things. For you, I think it is situational. When you do, or it just comes out how it comes out.
If I can control it, I will sandwich everything.
Yeah, I think it makes for a better conversation. I think a person receives it better. They feel better after talking to you. To me, it's all good to do it that way. But it's about mindfulness. So we all for 3.
No, I agree with you. It's just sometimes it's like, now look, nigga. You know what I'm saying?
You gonna get it how I give it to you. But as long as you're prepared to hear from the other person that they didn't like how you said it, and then you're willing to fix it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So.
And I am most of the time.
It depends on what you're doing. Do you? If we being real, it depends on what you watching and what you listening to, and what you reading. That determines a lot. Just saying. Anyways, On that note, you got the curb music. That's all I have for today. Did you have anything you wanted to say in closing?
Oh, God, that's not even say.
Okay.
I got to go.
Well, happy Easter.
That too.
Wash your hands.
And your ass. Nah. Was there anything else we need to talk about on the quarantine stuff?
No, I think it's what you make it. I mean, this isn't ideal for anybody.
You knew she wasn't shit when you got with her.
Now you stuck. It's hopefully you're doing it with the right person, quarantining with the right person, and it makes you better when you get on the other side. It makes you better. But if it doesn't, then you gotta let it go.
Okay. Cool. I appreciate you taking the time to talk and all that good stuff.
Next episode, you producing.
You did great. I thought you did great. You sure you good? There ain't nothing else?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Leave 5-star reviews on the podcast feed, RSS feed. Write in to I Can't Afford to Quit at Gmail. Let us know how you feeling, how you like it. Give us some feedback. And if you need like a asking for a friend type of situation about your relationship, I mean, I would love to read these things and see how I feel. We're not going to give advice. We're just going to read and say something.
They might want to know what am I asking for then. You're not going to tell me what to do.
I'm not a therapist or anything like that. But, if you want to say, am I wrong for this and that? Oh, that'd be cool. Is it wrong? Email.
That's brilliant.
And then we'll be like, nah, you da-da-da-da. So it's not like, so I got, I'm going to have this abortion. And like, should I? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we don't want to go there with those type of questions.
Right,
so I want to divorce my husband and
and move the kids to Seattle and no, but yeah, if you have any is it wrong questions, that'd be dope.
Send them in.
Yeah, send those in so we can say how we feel about it. That'd be great.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time. I don't remember what the ending was. Did I have an ending?
We just said bye.
Oh. Excuse me. All right. Peace out.